She blocked me on a Sunday afternoon. No warning. No goodbye. Just silence. 1 minute. We were arguing. Nothing unusual, just another tension-filled back and forth about weekend plans that spiraled into something bigger, louder, and the next, I couldn't reach her. My texts went green. Calls went straight to voicemail. By the time I checked Instagram, she was gone. Not just from my followers, but completely. Erased me like I was the problem, like I never existed in her digital life at all. It's a strange feeling, being blocked by your wife. Not your ex, not your college fling, your wife. You don't even realize how many tiny wires connect two people until they're suddenly cut. The shared playlists, the synced grocery apps, the email logins, the calendar reminders for things you were supposed to care about together. I remember sitting there on the edge of the bed, phone still warm in my hand, blinking at her name in my contacts. Still there, still saved as Emily Dizzy, but unreachable. That little moon emoji next to her name felt ironic now. She always liked space, so I gave it to her. I gave her Disappearance. The argument started like they always did, quietly, carelessly. She'd asked me to cancel plans with my brother because her cousin was in town unexpectedly. I said no, not out of spite. Just, it was the first time in 3 months I'd had something to look forward to. She didn't take it well. You always prioritize them over me, she snapped. I stared at her for a second, stunned. Your family, your friends, your work, everything comes before me. I opened my mouth to argue, but something about the way her arms crossed, the way she looked past me like I was an old piece of furniture, shut me down. I just said, okay, I hear you. I thought that would end it. Instead, it was a fuse. That night, I slept in the guest room. She didn't even say goodnight. The door closed with a finality that felt rehearsed. I remember staring at the ceiling for hours, thinking about how normal things had felt just a week ago. We'd gone to that Korean barbecue spot she loved. She'd worn that cream sweater with the buttons on the shoulder. She laughed, really laughed, when I made a joke about the waitress calling me sir, like I was 60. But now, it felt like I was sleeping in a stranger's house. Monday came and went. No texts. Tuesday, silence. By Wednesday, I started noticing the little things missing. She didn't leave her half-finished coffee cup on the bathroom counter. Her key wasn't in the bowl by the door. Even the slippers she always wore in the kitchen were gone. The place didn't feel lived in. It felt emptied, like someone had come through with a vacuum and sucked all the warmth out. I called once more, straight to voicemail. Then I saw it. Notifications silenced. Blocked. It hit harder than I expected. Not because of the ego, not even because of the pain, but because I'd been so careful with her. I tried so damn hard to be good to her, to grow, to listen, to be present. And this is how she handled conflict? By erasing me. I didn't react the way she probably expected. I didn't beg. I didn't go knocking on her sister's door. I didn't show up to her office like some desperate rom-com ghost trying to win back a woman who didn't want to be found. Instead, I opened my laptop. I logged into the shared bank account, the one where my salary landed each month, the one where she paid her rent, her car, her Spotify family plan. I took a deep breath and clicked Remove Access. People think betrayal is always dramatic, explosive, but sometimes it's quiet, like a door closing without a sound. I didn't block her out of pettiness. I blocked her because something in me shifted the moment she ghosted me like I was a mistake. It was as if I could suddenly see all the ways I'd allowed her to sit in the front seat of a life I was driving. All the small sacrifices I made, thinking it was love. All the parts of myself I silenced, thinking it was compromise. All the times I swallowed my needs, thinking that's what husbands do. She wanted space, so I gave her scale. Not just out of the house, not just out of my bank account, but out of the decisions that define my life. Thursday, I booked a solo trip to Montana. 2 weeks. No phones, no schedules, just silence. Friday, I met with a financial advisor. Told him to rework my future. New investments, new emergency plan, new will. Removed her as my beneficiary. Saturday, I cooked dinner for myself. Steak, red wine, no setting for two. I played music she didn't like. Sat in the living room where we once hosted her book club and laughed by myself. Not because it was funny, but because I'd forgotten how light my own company could feel. By Sunday, she hadn't called. Not once. But it didn't hurt anymore. Not in the way it did that first afternoon, when the silence felt like punishment. Now, it felt like permission. to let go, to move on, to stop looking for someone who stopped choosing me. They say closure is a conversation, but sometimes it's just a login screen, a decision, a click, and a moment of quiet where you realize she's gone, and you're still here. A week turned into 2, and still nothing. No text, no knock at the door, no mutual friend casually checking in with a hey. Just heard what happened between you two. Everything okay? Silence. Perfect, uninterrupted silence. It was almost impressive how committed she was to pretending I didn't exist. I used to think Emily couldn't go 12 hours without needing connection. She was the kind of person who'd text me miss you from the next room. Now, she was a ghost with a pulse. Gone, but alive somewhere. Probably walking around our city like nothing had changed. Maybe even laughing. I thought that would hurt. But instead, it made things easier. There's something strange that happens when someone disappears from your daily life. The house doesn't echo right at first. You forget how much their habits filled the air. Her morning podcast while brushing her teeth, the way she'd hum when boiling pasta, the barely there scent of her shampoo lingering in the hallway after a shower. But then, slowly, your own life expands to fill the space they left behind. I stopped setting 2 towels out in the bathroom. I reclaimed the Spotify account she once ruled with endless moody playlists and true crime episodes. I stopped buying oat milk. I took down the Polaroids from the fridge. Not with rage or a dramatic tear-streaked performance. Just quietly. I made the house mine again. And somewhere in the middle of that, I realized something. She hadn't just blocked me to hurt me. She blocked me because she couldn't face me. You don't ghost someone you're at peace with. You don't cut off contact if you have nothing to hide. Blocking isn't closure, it's escape. And once I stopped internalizing it as abandonment, I started seeing it for what it really was. A gift. A painfully wrapped, confusingly timed, soul-splitting gift. Because for the first time in our relationship, I was alone and still okay. Not waiting. Not hoping. Not wondering if I should have chased her. Just okay. Then came the email. 2 weeks and 3 days after she vanished. Subject line, need to talk. No greeting. No apology. Just, I know we've both needed space, but I think it's time we talk about where this is going. I miss what we had. Can we meet? Coffee, maybe? Just to talk. It hit me like a splash of cold water. Not because I wanted her back, but because she thought this was reversible. Like she could leave the game mid-round, press pause on everything, and I'd just be standing there, controller in hand, waiting for her to return. I didn't reply. Not for 2 days. Not because I was trying to punish her, but because I needed to be sure of my own answer. And when I finally opened a blank email draft, I didn't type something angry. I didn't say, you blocked me. Remember? I just wrote, I'm not the same person you left behind. I'm not looking to revisit what broke me. Wishing you peace, truly. But I'm building a life without reruns. I signed it with my name. Just my name. No love. No bitterness. No nostalgia. And I hit send. That was the moment I realized I'd changed. Before, I would have agreed to meet. I would have sat across from her at some cafe, heart in my throat, trying to decode her eyes like a map back to safety. I would have waited for her to explain herself, to apologize, to ask me to come home. But now I wasn't looking for home in another person. I started running again. Every morning at 6 a.m., lacing up shoes I hadn't touched in a year. The first day nearly killed me. Lungs on fire, legs jelly, heart pounding like it wanted out of my chest. But it also woke something up in me. Something steady. Something mine. By the second week, I didn't even need music. I ran through the streets with nothing but my breath and the rhythm of my shoes on pavement. And that silence, once terrifying, started to feel sacred. One morning, I passed by a bakery we used to love. A place where she'd always order the same almond croissant and snap a photo of her latte art before taking a sip. I paused outside the window for a second, wondering if she still came here. Then I walked on. I didn't stop, didn't go in, didn't look back. Because somewhere between the silence and the solitude, I realized she wanted distance. But I'd given her something far more permanent. I'd given her absence. Not the kind that begs to be noticed, but the kind that doesn't wait to be invited back. And the version of me she blocked? He's gone too. It's strange how healing doesn't feel like fireworks. No grand moment. No standing ovation from the universe. Just a quiet day that doesn't ache. A Tuesday morning where you don't check your phone for messages that'll never come. A night you fall asleep without replaying arguments like they're scenes in a movie you're still hoping has a different ending. That's what happened. The pain didn't vanish. It just stopped introducing itself every time I opened my eyes. And that was the real turning point. Not the email, not the blocking, not even the running. It was the first time I looked at a photo of us and didn't feel the need to reach back into it. About a month after she left, her best friend Leah called me. That surprised me. We'd always been civil, warm, even. Leah had this way of observing without judgment. I respected that. She never played sides, just floated in the in-between with a grace neither of us ever really acknowledged. Until now. She didn't waste time. Hey, just so you know, she's telling people you abandoned her. I didn't say anything. She says you locked her out, that you shut down emotionally, that you ghosted her. I could feel something tightening in my chest, but not the way it used to. Not with panic, not with heartbreak, just realization. This was the version of me she needed to exist. The cold one, the distant one, the villain. Leah sighed. I didn't buy it. I told her that. Why call me? A pause. Because I thought you deserved to know what story she's telling. And because I think you were the only one who really tried. That stayed with me longer than it should have. A few days later, I saw her. Not on purpose. I was at the farmer's market downtown, sunlight catching on the little stalls, people bustling with paper bags and overpriced honey jars, and then there she was. Emily, standing next to a man I didn't recognize. Sunglasses on. Laughing. Not forced, not performative. Just laughing. She didn't see me. I could have walked past without a word. I almost did. But I didn't. I walked right up. Calm. Still. Her eyes widened when she noticed me. Hey, I said. It hung there, between us. Hey, she replied. No warmth. No anger. Just polite disorientation. She shifted uncomfortably. The man beside her said something about grabbing a drink. She nodded without breaking eye contact. When we were alone, she spoke first. I didn't think I'd see you here. Yeah, life's full of surprises. I got your email, she said. I nodded. She looked down, then back up. You didn't even ask why I blocked you. I don't need to know. Silence. I panicked, she admitted. That day, I felt like, if I didn't shut everything out, I'd explode. And once I did, it was easier to pretend I didn't care than admit I was scared. I didn't respond. Not out of cruelty, but because I finally understood something I hadn't before. I'd been loving her from a place of hope. She'd been loving me from a place of fear. That's not a foundation. That's a fuse. She tilted her head. You're different. I am. There was a beat of silence. You look good, she offered. Thank you. She bit her lip like she was about to say something else. But instead, she reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. I unblocked you, she said softly. I looked at it. Then at her. It doesn't matter anymore. She blinked. You didn't block me, Emily. You blocked the version of me who still needed your permission to be whole. She didn't speak. And that man's gone. I stepped back, nodded once, and left her standing there, phone in hand, words unspoken. That was the last time I saw her. She didn't chase me. I didn't turn back. Because healing doesn't always end with closure. Sometimes, it ends with clarity. It's been 6 months now. I moved. Not far, just enough to make everything feel new. A smaller place. Fewer reminders. A quiet balcony where I drink my coffee in the morning and watch the world without needing to be needed. The silence no longer feels like punishment. It feels earned. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. Just colors, shapes, motion. No expectations. Just breath and brush and space. I make my own plans now. Cook for one without feeling lonely. Build toward a future where love, if it ever comes again, is welcome, but not required. Because I learned something powerful the day she blocked me. You can't control when someone chooses distance. But you can choose who has access to your life after they walk away. And sometimes, the most honest form of love is letting go without needing to be the last one to speak. She blocked me, so I blocked her from my bank account, from my plans, from my future. She wanted distance. I gave her disappearance. And in the space she left behind, I finally found myself.